Now, Britain's biggest high street bank, Lloyds, is to cut 15,000 jobs within the next 2 years and halve its international presence. It's hoped the plan will save Lloyds £1.5 billion and return the part-nationalised bank back to health. The latest cuts will add to the 30,000 jobs that are already being lost at the bank. Well, Chris Roebuck is international banking expert. He joins me now. Chris, good evening to you. We're hearing there total job losses at Lloyds with the new ones up to about 40,000. What were these jobs that the bank thinks it can cut 40,000 jobs and still continue as normal?
We have to remember that obviously this is going to seed concern in terms of job losses that are going to be wider, but we have to remember that Lloyds is the product of putting three organisations together. If you put three organisations together, you don't need 3 times as many branches, you don't need 3 IT functions. So there is scope for reductions. The reductions they've made have been primarily in the branch network, the front end of the bank, so to speak, and they obviously feel that there is some capability to make cost efficiencies in the back end of the bank, the IT functions and the support functions, to make the bank more efficient.
Well, that's what we're hearing. We're told actually that it's the middle management who could bear the brunt of all of this, but certainly concerns for people who work in these branches. But what we've found is that the markets are liking this. Shares in Lloyds closing up 9%. Investors really welcoming the fact that there is now a clear direction about what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. What the market wants is the market wants a clear direction, a direction that indicates the bank is managing its costs effectively, and what it's also doing is it's also focusing in on the areas where it makes the profit margin higher. And if we look at what's happening there, they're also retrenching from some of the activities they've had abroad and coming back to concentrate on their core activities, which is what the market likes. But we have to remember, we own 41% of Lloyds Bank. And we have to make a decision. If we want our money back in a reasonable amount of time, the bank has to run as an efficient commercial bank.
The bank, of course, are very keen to draw a line under the whole bailout affair. How much does that contribute to this? How much will the bank now be able to get on with doing what it does?
Well, from the perspective of the bank, if you look at the freedom that the senior leadership of the bank has, from their perspective, as soon as they can pay the taxpayer back, the better, because then they're going to be in a position where they can run the bank independently and do what they want for the benefit of the other shareholders, and they can act like Barclays and the banks that didn't take any money, and that level of freedom is what they want to be able to make as much money as they can.
Chris, thank you. Chris Roebuck there. Thanks very much for your time this evening.